Did you know that the average person can only survive 3 days without water and 3 weeks without food? Quite a sobering thought, isn't it? But what if I told you there have been people who've defied these odds, testing the very limits of human endurance and resilience? Welcome to a journey through some of the most incredible survival stories in history. Tales that bear witness to the indomitable human spirit, the will to survive against all odds, and the sheer grit and determination that can make the impossible possible. Each story is unique, each survivor a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of the human body and mind when pushed to their absolute limits. Why are these stories relevant, you might ask? They serve as powerful reminders of our inherent strength and resilience. They inspire us, humble us, and remind us of the extraordinary potential we all carry within us. They also teach us invaluable lessons about survival, leadership, and the power of hope and perseverance. From the frozen landscapes of Antarctica to the dense jungles of the Amazon, from the open seas to the barren deserts, these stories span across the globe and through the ages. They involve ordinary people thrust into extraordinary circumstances, facing dire situations with courage, ingenuity, and an unyielding will to survive. We'll hear about Ernest Shackleton's legendary Antarctic voyage, Julian Koepke's miraculous survival after a plane crash in the Amazon, the Apollo 13 mission that turned a potential disaster into a triumph, and many more. Each narrative will leave you astounded, moved, and deeply inspired. So are you ready to delve into the unthinkable realities of survival, to witness tales that are as shocking as they are awe-inspiring? Are you prepared to discover just how far the human spirit can go when pushed to its absolute limits? Let's delve into these fascinating tales of resilience and courage. Imagine being stranded on ice in Antarctica for months. That was the reality for Ernest Shackleton and his crew. In 1914, they embarked on the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition, a voyage that quickly took a chilling turn. Their ship became trapped and was eventually crushed by the relentless Antarctic ice. But the story doesn't end there. Shackleton, demonstrating remarkable leadership, made the decision to lead his crew on a perilous journey across the ice. For months, they battled the freezing cold and unimaginable conditions. Despite the incredible odds stacked against them, Shackleton's courage and determination never wavered. His unyielding spirit kept his crew alive, and after many long, harsh months, they were rescued. The tale of this expedition is a testament to the strength of human resilience and the power of determined leadership. The crew's survival truly showcased extraordinary leadership and perseverance. Surviving a plane crash is one thing, but how about a 10,000-foot fall and 11 days in the Amazon jungle? In 1971, 17-year-old Julian Koepke boarded a flight with her mother in Peru. Tragically, their plane was struck by lightning and disintegrated in mid-air. Julianne, still strapped to her seat, plummeted nearly 2 miles down into the dense Peruvian Amazon. Miraculously, she survived the fall with only a broken collarbone, a gash in her arm, and a swollen eye. But the real trial was just beginning. Surrounded by the dense, hostile jungle, Julianne had to rely on the survival skills her father, a biologist, had taught her. She trekked through the perilous rainforest for 11 grueling days, battling insects, hunger, and despair, until she found a group of lumberjacks who finally rescued her. Julianne's tale is a testament to human resilience in the face of extreme adversity. It shows us that sometimes survival can hinge on the slimmest threads of hope and determination. Space, the final frontier and the setting for one of the most famous survival stories. In the spring of 1970, the world watched as the Apollo 13 mission, aimed for the moon, took an unexpected turn. A mere 56 hours into the mission, an oxygen tank exploded, causing critical system failures and forcing the crew to abort their lunar landing. Astronauts James Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes found themselves over 200,000 miles from Earth, their lives hanging in the balance. Facing this crisis, the astronauts and ground team at Mission Control rallied together. With ingenuity and determination, they improvised solutions to navigate around the damaged systems. They created a makeshift carbon dioxide scrubber, converted the lunar module into a lifeboat, and executed a critical engine burn, altering their course for a safe return. Despite the odds, the crew and ground team brought the spacecraft back to Earth safely. Imagine surviving 133 days stranded on a life raft in the middle of the South Atlantic. This was the harrowing reality for Poon Lim, a Chinese sailor during World War II. Poon Lim was aboard the British merchant ship SS Ben Lomond when it was sunk by a German U-boat. Out of the entire crew, Poon Lim was the sole survivor, managing to secure himself a life raft. For over 4 months, Poon Lim fought against the odds in an open and hostile sea. With limited supplies, he ingeniously used flotsam and jetsam to catch rainwater and fish, his only source of sustenance. He battled isolation, starvation, dehydration and sharks, yet, against all odds, he endured. Poon Lim's survival is a testament to human endurance and the will to live. His remarkable story reminds us of the extraordinary lengths to which humans can go when faced with the direst of circumstances. Surviving a plane crash in the Andes Mountains and enduring 72 days in harsh conditions, that's the story of the Andes flight disaster survivors. In October of 1972, a plane carrying a Uruguayan rugby team, along with their family members and supporters, crashed into the unforgiving Andes. Faced with freezing temperatures, scarce food, and an inhospitable terrain, the survivors were pushed to the extreme limits of their resilience. Their ordeal lasted over 2 months, and during that time, they had to make some unimaginable decisions to stay alive. They were eventually discovered in December, but their ordeal had been far from ordinary. Their survival required making life and death decisions that tested the limits of human ethics and endurance. The story of the Andes flight disaster survivors is a tale of human spirit, resilience, and the will to live against all odds. Imagine surviving 2 years alone on an uninhabited island in the Arctic. This is the extraordinary tale of Ada Blackjack, a young Inuit woman. In the early 1920s, Ada joined an expedition to the desolate Wrangel Island. However, the journey turned disastrous as the group was plagued by a myriad of problems, including insufficient supplies and harsh weather conditions. One by one, the members of the expedition succumbed to the elements, leaving Ada alone. Despite her initial despair, Ada refused to give in. She taught herself to hunt and trap, to make clothing from animal skins, and to fend off predators. For 2 long years, Ada braved the Arctic wilderness, her survival hinging on her resourcefulness and resilience. Finally, in August of 1923, Ada was rescued, returning home as the sole survivor of the ill-fated expedition. Ada's story is a testament to human tenacity and the will to survive against all odds. Surviving a fall from 33,000 feet with no parachute. That's the miraculous survival story of Vesna Vulovic. This Serbian flight attendant boarded a plane on January 26, 1972, unaware of the fate that awaited her. As the plane soared over Czechoslovakia, a bomb planted by a terrorist group detonated, causing the plane to break apart in mid-air. Vesna found herself plummeting towards the earth, strapped to her seat. Miraculously, she survived the fall, her life saved by a snow-covered hillside and a fast-acting rescue team. She sustained severe injuries but defied all odds by recovering and even returning to work for the airline, albeit on the ground. Vesna's survival set a world record and is a testament to the resilience of the human body and spirit. Building one of the world's longest railways in extreme Siberian conditions, that's the survival story of the Baikal-Amur mainline construction survivors. From 1974 to 1984, these workers braved the brutal environment of Siberia to construct a railway that would forever change the landscape. The chilling cold, the harsh winds, the relentless snow, all were constant companions during their decade-long endeavor. Yet, they persevered. Their bodies adapted to the severe climate, their minds grew resilient, their spirits remained unbroken. They carried out their work diligently, despite the threat of frostbite, hypothermia, and isolation. Their story is not just about surviving, but about thriving against the odds, about pushing the boundaries of human endurance. These workers are a testament to what humans can achieve when they refuse to surrender to their circumstances. Their survival speaks to human endurance and tenacity, and after hearing these incredible survival stories, one can't help but reflect on the strength and resilience of the human spirit. These tales of courage, determination, and sheer willpower span across different epochs, environments, and cultures. Yet they all converge on one common theme: the indomitable human spirit that refuses to bow down to adversity. In the face of life-threatening situations, these survivors did not merely endure. They displayed remarkable resourcefulness, adaptability, and an unwavering resolve to live. From Ernest Shackleton's leadership in the Antarctic, to Julian Köpke's survival in the Amazon, from the Apollo 13 mission's triumphant return to Earth to Poon Lim's tenacity on the South Atlantic, these individuals defied the odds and emerged victorious against all odds. One can wonder, what would we do if met with such dire circumstances? Would we have the strength to persevere like Ada Blackjack, alone on an uninhabited Arctic island? Or the resourcefulness of Alexander Selkirk, whose real-life experience inspired the novel Robinson Crusoe? Could we maintain hope like the Andes flight disaster survivors, who had to make a life-and-death decision to survive? These stories are not just about survival. They are about the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. They are about hope, resilience, and the innate human instinct to survive. They show us that no matter how bleak the situation, the human spirit is capable of finding a way to endure. As we reflect on these tales, we are reminded that these survivors were ordinary people, thrust into extraordinary circumstances. They were not born survivors, they became survivors. They found within themselves the strength, courage, and resilience to face the most daunting challenges and come out alive. These stories serve as a reminder of our potential to overcome immense challenges and the power of the human spirit to survive against all odds.